If you like to talk about combat sports and you want to join the discussion, click the subscribe button below and the bell notification icon next to it and join Knucklehead Nation. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the FightersRep video podcast. This is our Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury 2 post-fight show. And my goodness, what a performance for the Gypsy King, getting the finish, the technical knockout stoppage in the 7th round, 1 minute and 39 seconds in. And this is precisely as we predicted on this channel. I was being as objective as possible on Friday when I made my prediction just yesterday. It feels like a long time ago. It's been a long day, but I was right on the money, trying to be objective as usual when I made my prediction yesterday on the Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 2 rematch. I said that the fight would end either by a decision win for Tyson Fury or by a late stoppage. I felt like the extra weight that Tyson Fury had put on was going to be extremely valuable, extremely beneficial for Tyson Fury. I felt like he was going to be countering Deontay Wilder, and I just felt like it was going to be too much for Deontay Wilder to be able to deal with all of that weight. He's basically a guy who's a blown-up cruiserweight, and time and time again, he's been able to get the job done against these lesser heavyweights. And I've said this in the past, he's never fought an elite heavyweight. And when he fought an elite heavyweight, it was Tyson Fury. And he should have lost that first fight. That was a horrible decision that ripped Tyson Fury off. This time, Tyson Fury, man, you have to appreciate his genius. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what you look like. I don't care who you were going for in this fight for whatever reason. You have to appreciate the genius of Tyson Fury. He said he was going to put on the weight and knock this guy out, and that's exactly what he did, albeit it was a technical knockout, a stoppage, but he got it done. And again, I hate to toot my own horn, but I said it. Second half of this fight, it's either going to be Tyson Fury finishing Wilder or Tyson Fury winning by decision because of superior boxing skills. And you always have to default to the guy with the better boxing skills, when it's a boxing match. And this is precisely why I told everybody that Floyd Money Mayweather, in my opinion, the best fighter that I've ever seen fight, he always got the job done because his skills were superior. And in this fight, Tyson Fury's skills were superior. And I do believe that Tyson Fury is the supreme technician in the heavyweight division today. And that's why I felt like Deontay Wilder was just not going to have a chance to beat him. I mean, you got to be impressed by this guy's performance. He was pressing Wilder. And yesterday I brought up the Tyson Fury versus Steve Cunningham fight. That's the fight that came to mind when I said to myself, after watching that weigh-in, I said, oh no, Tyson Fury's coming in heavy, and Deontay Wilder, despite being 231 pounds, he's got the frame of a guy that's almost a cruiserweight. It's basically almost not fair. And so, I said to myself, Tyson Fury, and it is fair, because the rules of boxing say over 200 pounds, you're a heavyweight. But what I mean by it's almost not fair is he's going to outweigh him by so much, he's just going to be able to bully him. It's not going to be a fair, a fair fight, really. And it's precisely what happened to Steve Cunningham when he fought with Fury, and that's why I brought that fight up. He bullied him, he pushed him up against the ropes, he was, pressing on him with the forearm and landed big shots on him. And over again, it was happening. Over and over again. And, he controlled the range from the outside. He did the better work on the inside. He's just a superior fighter all around. I said he was going to have to, stay on the outside and control the range, but he could also press this guy and get aggressive the way he did against Steve Cunningham. Man, this is exactly what I felt was going to happen in this fight. I'm glad all you are in here. As you know, we do this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If it's your first time being in here, we do this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific. We also go live after all the big fights. That's why we're live right now. If you're here for your first time and you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. It means a lot. Also, hit the likes before I start reading your comments in the chat to see what everybody's talking about here. I want to thank you guys for joining. I also want to remind you guys, FightersRep 9 is on Friday, next Friday. If you're anywhere in Southern California, pick up your tickets at FightersRep.com in the link below. Also, if you can't come here, it's going to be live and free on YouTube. If you click the link below, or if you donate to the Super Chat or buy a FightersRep t-shirt, you will be helping me build the promotion, and we'll reinvest right back into the channel and into the promotion and to what I think are the best young strikers in the world. So let's take a look at what's going on in our Super Chat here. We've got John Wick, my brother. He said, I knew it. I called it. I did not bet on Wilder tonight. I knew Fury would smoke him this time, but Wilder has a rematch. But will he take it? I don't know. I don't know if he'll take that. That was a beating. That was a drumming. That was vicious. That was bad. What happened to his ear, it was worrisome. I must say it was worrisome. And he just doesn't have the boxing know-how to be able to beat a guy like Tyson Fury unless he lands a knockout punch. And like I said yesterday, that's why I don't like Wilder's chances. That's why he makes me nervous. Even though I like him, even though I love his explosiveness, the way he knocks people out, he's always falling behind in these fights, falling behind. Then he's got to pull himself out of this hole that he digs for himself because he just doesn't have the skills. And I don't know why that's not been addressed. A couple times today, I saw him use his jab a little bit. I saw him go to the body, which is something that I said he needed to do in order to win this fight. But he just wasn't active enough, and he just doesn't have the feet. He doesn't have the mobility. He doesn't have the reach. He doesn't have the skill to deal with a guy like Tyson Fury. It's just a bad matchup for him. And I think he'll run into problems with all the elites in the heavyweight division. And by all elites, I'm definitely referring to Anthony Joshua. I think Andy Ruiz, even though he's kind of, flaked out, would give him a hard fight. I think Dillian White will give him a hell of a fight. I think a lot of these guys will give him a hell of a fight. Usyk, because he's just not that skilled of a boxer. And if he keeps relying on his right hand, people could see it coming from a million miles away. He's not going to beat anyone like that, So I do think if he's going to continue, which there's no problem if he does. I think he should, depending on, how damaged his ear is and his jaw or whatever happened to him today. I was a little bit worried about him. He looked a little bit out of it. If he continues, if he decides to go forward, after assessing the damage, depending on how he feels, he's going to need to add more to his arsenal to get back to where he was. Let's see here. So, Muay Thai 23 says, wow, Wilder was not informed from the first bell. Fury a beast, though. And Fury is a beast, man. You got to give that guy credit. Fight Life Nation, he was reacting to everything Fury was doing, not leading himself. Eustacio Solis says, let's go Fury. And Calculated Risk says, what's up, George? What's up, my brother? Thank you for joining. He says, wow, Fury put on a weight, is really effective in terms of his power. And absolutely. Absolutely. I knew that this massive difference in weight was going to affect the fight. There's no way you can stand in front of a guy who outweighs you by 40 pounds and has superior boxing to you. It's a lose-lose situation. The whole thing was against, every aspect of this fight was against Deontay Wilder. And that's why the three ways I saw this fight going in order was a decision for Fury, a finish for Fury, or a finish for Wilder. That was my third outcome, was a finish for Wilder, because you can't be in there with a superior boxer that's that much bigger than you. It's just too difficult and longer than you, So that also was a factor here. And he's a tough son of a bitch, Fury, man. When he starts mauling people like that, he can do that. He can fight on the inside despite being 6'9". So let's see here. Wilder looked super nervous all night. He looked super tight. I agree with that. Calculated Risk says, I was like 50-50 in this fight. Wilder didn't look like himself, but Fury is the real deal. Fight Life Nation says, I think the extra weight Wilder put on slowed him down. It looked like he really got tired really quick. Yes, but could you imagine him coming in at 209 pounds like he did last time, getting hit by the 273-pound Tyson Fury? He would have really been hurt. Mr. Flash says, bro, I told peeps Wilder was going to lose. I told my girl Cynthia the same thing. I'm just waiting for her to go live. Muay Thai 23, the extra muscle mass destroyed his conditioning. You need to get your body used to that change. And Muay Thai 23 may be right about that. That was a drastic gain in muscle weight for Deontay Wilder that may have negatively impacted him in this fight. Muay Thai 23 says Deontay Wilder should have bit him. I'm not even going to finish that sentence, brother. Fight Life Nation says all credit to Fury for beating the shit out of Wilder, though. No excuses. That guy has an ugly style, but he's badass. You know, Marco, you're my boy, but I couldn't disagree with you more. An ugly style. The guy can box fantastically on the inside, outside, and mid-range. He made it an ugly fight on purpose. He mauled Deontay Wilder the way he did Steve Cunningham because he knew that that was what was going to get the fight won for him. And so I got to disagree, man. I don't think he has an ugly style. He may have fought with an ugly style tonight at times, but the guy is a brilliant boxer. Calculated Risk says Fury looked huge with power tonight. And everybody says he can't hit hard. And I've been telling people for weeks on this channel, he's 6'9". He can hit. He's 250. He can hit. And when he came in at 273 pounds yesterday at the weigh-in and looked solid, I said to myself, Deontay Wilder's in for a world of trouble. And I actually changed my prediction from Wilder to Fury within the last week, and it solidified it for me when I saw him on the scale looking as solid as he looked and as well put together as he did. Swaggy Taggy 420 says, I can't tell you how much this means to me, man. 5 a.m. here, and I've nearly woken up my whole building. I appreciate you being on the chat, brother. Hey, you guys can always donate to show some love. It's going to get reinvested right back into the promotion and, you know, go to these young fighters anyway. But thank you for joining me, man. I appreciate you, Swaggy Taggy. You're a loyal knucklehead, brother. Mr. Flash says, saw the writing on the wall. His whole vibe in the press was off. It had the same feel in the air as AJ versus Ruiz 1. I just felt it coming. Swaggy Taggy 420, Fury boxed perfect, is what he said. Muay Thai says, Coach, where do you put Fury in the best boxers of all time? You know, a lot of people think it's a joke, but Fury is now, he has to be considered one of the best heavyweights of all time. Could you imagine him at 6'9" with an 85-pound reach and the mobility that he has and the power that he has and the toughness and durability that he has going up against any of the heavyweights of the other eras? The guy would be a handful and a nightmare for anybody. I don't care what anybody says. You know, people might call me crazy for saying that. The guy's terrible as far as an opponent goes. Calculated Risk is 273 pounds with boxing skill. That's a good combination. That's a fight finishing combination, my brother. Let's see what's going on here. I kind of lost you guys here. There we are. Controlled the range within millimeters, says Swaggy Taggy. It's 6 a.m. in Ireland, Muay Thai 23 says. Ruben Flores says, what about King Kong? What about Areola? What about those guys? Those guys are not elite fighters. Those guys are not elite. King Kong, who has King Kong fought? And the only people that Areola fought that were elite beat him. Miguel Gonzalez says, kudos to Fury, but man, feels some kind of way. Hope Wilder comes back strong. You know, I do feel bad for Wilder. I do feel bad. By the way, smash the like button, you guys. I really appreciate it. Smash the like button. Get us some engagement up in this piece. Fight Life Nation says Wilder didn't move like the smaller guy. He was plodding around. I mean, he just doesn't have the feet to move like the smaller guy. You know, that's why people are so impressed with Fury. That's why I picked Fury to beat Klitschko. That's why I picked Fury to win this fight. That's why I picked Fury to win the last fight. Fury's a special fighter. Not everybody can move like that. Swaggy Taggy says, I was worried about the weight too, but he was expanding his energy, laying into punches as opposed to dancing around. Ruben Flores says, Water equals athletic, but low boxing skills. Blind Ear says, Wilder trash. Well, I mean, I don't think we can go as far as to call Wilder trash. Again, this is his first fight that he's lost. But, he's not trash. He just needs to develop other skills. And he could do that, I think. But he just wants to rely on that power. And it really came to bite him in the ass today. Ruben Flores says Wilder won't recover. No heart. I don't know about that. I feel like he has a lot of heart. So we're going to have to disagree there. I think Wilder has a lot of heart. Even today when they stopped it and he's bleeding out of his ears, he wanted to continue fighting. So you can't question the guy's heart. He's got the heart of a champion. We've seen him hurt against Ortiz. He was hurt today and was stopped on his feet. But he doesn't have the skills, man. Swaggy Taggy 420 says, Fury boxed near perfect. If anything, I would have taken Wilder out early. No need to do that to continue with a rematch in place and the ear clearly damaged. Mr. Flash says, imagine Wilder fight in shape AJ. He'll get treated even worse. AJ got more pop in his punches. That'd be an interesting fight. Ruben Flores says, Fury versus Andy Ruiz, what a fight. I agree with that, Ruben Flores. I think that'd be a great fight. Randy Leiter says, we saw how fit Fury looked, particularly his shoulders and arms. We agreed earlier today. We sure did, my brother. Blind Ears, Wilder already made excuses. Listen to that. Swaggy Taggy 420 says, sorry for the spam messages, but I cannot begin to describe how much this means to me. I don't know why this means so much to you. Gotta explain that to me. I don't know why you're even saying that. I'm a little confused. Ruben Flores says, Joshua a bum, Wilder now a bum. Any American boxers don't talk too much, bro. Israel Cisternas Rodriguez Miranda said, I had it, Fury by KO. He didn't. Ruben Flores says, answer questions, bro. Daniel Aon says, rip Wilder. Damn. King Temp says, finally was waiting for you to come online. I'm here, brother. Thanks for joining. Mr. Flash says, AJ a bum with the best resume. Keep talking, casual Ruben. Uh-oh. I'm a Fury fan, but it was depressing seeing Wilder like that, says King Tempa, and I agree with that one. Blind Ear says, Martin, the best heavyweight, best American heavyweight. And you might be right about that. You might be right. I think we still, though, we have to give it to Wilder. But Martin didn't look too bad today. It looks like, he finished Gallo Negro. So, that's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing for him. I'm going to skip down. I can't keep up. I'm going to try to answer some of your questions. One thing I wanted to bring up to you guys is, so, as you guys know, this is also known as the Keep It Clean podcast at times because we like to call out the corruption in combat sports, the BS in combat sports, right? And Thapelo Ramarwalo says, shout out to Fury from South Africa. Wow, man. Big shout out to South Africa. Thank you for being in here. So, what I wanted to talk to you guys about was, the corruption, right? And the corruption took a huge loss tonight for boxing. I think that, and Tyrone Crawford saying seeing Wilder go down like that was sad. I agree, it was a little bit sad, but corruption took a huge loss tonight. And what I mean is, when Deontay Wilder's team decided to fight Tyson Fury the first time, they thought that they were going in there with a finished, over-the-hill, 3 years outside of the ring, coked up, fat, drunk Tyson Fury with no shot. And they were trying to preserve that which is such a fucking disease to the sport, to all combat sports. People preserving their not willing to, take risks and fight guys that can beat them. They went ahead, took that fight. They should have lost that fight against Fury the first time, and Fury was absolutely robbed in my position, in my opinion. More corruption. So what happened? It almost blew up in their face, but the only way to rectify that draw, which was basically like an L if you're Wilder, considering what Fury was coming back from and considering the fact that everybody thought you lost that fight unless they were basically a racist or biased or ridiculous. But, the fact that that draw happened, it forced him to fight Fury again. It forced him, otherwise his career would have been in shambles for real. People would have said he was ducking Tyson Fury. And so it's amazing how the corruption of trying to preserve the O backfired on the PBC team in this situation. And I really do like Deontay Wilder. I really do like him. And a part of me was feeling, as an American especially, a part of me was feeling pity and feeling sadness for him when I saw him in the corner sitting there and his ears are bleeding. First off, I'm a promoter, so I was worried sick, because if I saw anybody fighting for me bleeding out of their ears and their jaws swelling up and blood's coming out of their mouth, it's a concern for me. But he was also sort of like the only American hope left. But at the same time, his management, I don't think it's him. I think it's his management was basically holding that WBC belt hostage, right? They were holding that belt hostage, and the fact that preserving the O blew up in their face, that ridiculous decision in the first fight, and, them holding the belt hostage and him not fighting guys who deserved to fight it outside of Fury, he was put in a position where he was forced to fight him. It all contributes to the massive corruption, the massive corrupt, ridiculous BS that went in to this entire series. And I'm kind of glad that that's over. Tyson Fury winning, unfortunately for Deontay Wilder, is a better outcome for boxing because Tyson Fury's probably going to want to make the Anthony Joshua fight. I mean, as much as he talks smack and whatever, Fury's down to fight anybody because he thinks he's the best. And AJ's down to fight anybody because he thinks he's the best. And, I think their management probably agrees. Maybe Eddie Hearn would be more hesitant to fight Fury, but I don't know. I feel like they could make that fight happen. But Deontay Wilder, even though I do believe in my heart of hearts that Deontay Wilder's down to fight anybody, I believe Deontay Wilder's management has guided his career in a desperate attempt to protect his O. And they did the same thing with Gary Russell Jr. And they've done the same thing with, a couple other PBC fighters. And it's a shame, And I do want to see Deontay Wilder come back. I do think the PBC is a cool thing. But I do think that we need to get back to the culture of the best fighting the best. And, that's kind of what we have at FightersRep. I match these kids up evenly. I try to get them to fight the best guys. And that's the culture I'm aiming for in this promotion. So, like I said before, if you guys get any shirts or donate to the super chat, anything you donate helps me continue to build this channel and build the promotion of FightersRep, which I think is going to be the best kickboxing promotion in the United States. We're the only kickboxing promotion in the state of California with a pro license. So, that's the way I feel about that. But let's see here. What else we got going on? Storm Photography said, just need to get Charlo to step up now. Start freeing the green straps one by one and make PBC irrelevant. I'm not hoping for the destruction of any, boxing platform like PBC or promoter or anything like that. But, I do think, again, as long as we stay away from the best fighting the best, as long as we continue down this line of preserving that zero for these fighters and making them fight tomato cans, it's going to be a disaster for everybody involved in the sport. It's hard to make fights when it's that way. People get disrespected and lose their opportunities to make a living for their families when it's that way. You fool the public and dishearten them when it's that way. They can see the corruption when it's that way. And that's the kind of stupidity that we need to hunt down and call out and amputate from combat sports altogether. And if I'm being honest, I watched the UFC tonight. They do a fantastic job of having the best fight the best. Boxing, not so much. It only happens in these rare situations. And in this situation, this rematch happened because Wilder needed to save face, and his career would have been destroyed had he not rematched Tyson Fury, because everybody thought that he lost that fight. Sarumo Bolu says, finally Wilder can keep his mouth shut. He should never say AJ's name again. Tyrone Crawford says, let me see here. Yeah, Tyrone Crawford says, no excuses for Wilder, guys. Dr. T says, now Joshua will want to fight Wilder, vulnerable, proven. That would be an interesting fight. That'd be a very interesting fight, man. I hope that happens. Mike Hunt says, Wilder can't box. Simple. Average Joe here in Ireland would break his glass jaw. Mike Hunt, Wilder definitely doesn't have a glass jaw, so we got to call a spade here. That's the point of this channel, to stay away from bias, to stay away from corruption, to keep it objective. At least in our opinion, to try to keep it objective. We cannot say that Deontay Wilder has a glass jaw. The man has never been stopped in the pro ranks. This is the first time he ever got stopped, and he got stopped standing on his feet, and, he was protesting it. So we can't question his heart. We can't question his chin. But you're right about his boxing skills. I believe his boxing skills are his weakness. And Tyrone Crawford says exactly, Wilder was extremely protected. So he agrees. Tyrone agrees with my sentiment that Wilder is protected, but also agrees with my sentiment that Wilder does not have a glass jaw. He does not. If anything, Wilder may have the best chin or one of the best chins in the heavyweight division in boxing. And one of the biggest right hands in the history of the heavyweight division. But he just doesn't have the boxing know-how. And you got to have it all now. You got to have it all with these elite guys. You got to have it all with these big heavyweights. Mr. Flash says, Al Heyman, the problem, everybody ain't Floyd, man. It's the same routine. They doing it with Tank. If he gets in there with Lopez or Loma, he getting steamrolled, bro. You're seeing it, Mr. Flash, and they believe that by preserving these guys' O's, by preserving their perfect record, that they're doing this fighter a service. What they don't realize is they're doing fans and the sport of boxing a disservice. They continue to bleed out the sport of boxing by doing this thing. And I say that because if Mr. Flash, if you can see it, and you're a boxing fan, then all the boxing fans in this chat room and all the boxing fans that are watching at home these bullshit fights with these bullshit results, they can see it too. By the way, guys, there's over 100 of you in here. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We do this every week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And immediately after the big fights, we get on here, we discuss the fight. So please hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon. Also, by donating or buying the Fighters Rep shirt in the link below, or donating to the super chat, you help me continue to build the channel and Fighters Rep, the only kickboxing promotion in the state of California. Help me build a fantastic promotion for you. We'll be airing our fights on Friday, free on YouTube. If you're anywhere in Southern California, get you a ticket at FightersRep.com and join us. We're going to have some great food, drinks, and some of the best fights you've ever seen. About 16 or 17 fights on tap. Freddie B. Birkinshaw, people are saying Wilder, time to retire. I don't know. I agree with Tyrone, who says Wilder is a warrior, though. I am subscribing. Much love to you, Tyrone. Thank you, man. I agree. Wilder's a warrior, man. Wilder is a warrior. We could say what we want about him, but he's a warrior. But, he just needs that skill to back him up. And he just, at the age of 34 now, is it too late? He needs to develop some other weapons. Fight Life Nation says, Mike Hunt, LOL. Hearing George say your name make me laugh, LOL. I'm drunk. What are you drinking over there, Marco? DM says, time for Wilder to get new trainers. I think he should have gotten new trainers a very long time ago. And by the way, big shout out to Sugar Hill. What a difference he made in strategy. You guys cannot tell me that the difference between the last Tyson Fury strategy and this one wasn't his key to success. Totally different strategy. Although we also have to take into consideration where he's at mentally and physically now versus where he was when he fought Wilder. Raptor says, that was the best fight I've seen in a while. Glad you enjoyed it, brother. I also thought it was a fun fight. And Israel Sistedna saying, yes, agreed, Wilder has one of the best chins and punches. You can't deny that. Theodore Kim says something wasn't right. Fury looked so bad against Valine compared to Deontay's last fight. Valine fought a smarter, better fight than Theodore Kim fought, than Valine fought Theodore. Wilder cannot fight like Valine. You got to understand the styles here. Valine is more of a technical fighter than Wilder, and he was pressing Tyson Fury, making him uncomfortable. Wilder doesn't do that. He sort of, backs away, chills out, and waits to land a perfect right hand from afar, and that's a mistake when you're going up against a guy with an 85-inch reach advantage. Brent Strathdepehi, thank you for joining the chat, brother. If you guys are here for your first time, I haven't seen you guys before, hit that subscribe button, the bell notification icon. He says, Atlas said it perfectly. Deontay Wilder, lack of technique can fail him any given night, and his power can save him any night. Tonight it was the former. And I must say, I predicted, if you watch yesterday's prediction on this channel, the fight to get finished by Tyson Fury. I predicted Tyson Fury to finish the fight in the second half of the fight, or for Tyson Fury to win a decision. Those were my predictions. And Teddy Atlas said that Deontay Wilder was going to win this fight by knockout. So Teddy Atlas was wrong, and I was right. And I feel pretty good getting something right when Teddy Atlas hasn't gotten it right. So, hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good for a kickboxing promoter. Alvin Johnson says, you have to protect the heavyweights because you don't have many left. Could you imagine, Alvin Johnson, if we took that attitude to every division? Alvin Johnson, that is by far, no disrespect to you, the most horrific opinion that I've heard in this chat room today. You have to protect the heavyweights because you don't have many left. The heavyweight division is teeming with guys right now. Teeming. There are hundreds of heavyweights out there that want an opportunity. We saw Valine go in there at the last minute and give Tyson a much better fight than what Deontay Wilder did. So I don't know what you're talking about. You have to protect. You're not supposed to protect anybody. It's a fight. You're supposed to make a fight a fair fight. If you're protecting a fighter, that means you're making it an unfair fight for the guy he's fighting and putting that guy's life in danger. That's why, people who have that attitude, that opinion, should never become promoters and should never be involved in boxing. You can't protect anybody. What that means is giving them an unfair advantage in a fight. You might as well just give them steroids while you're at it. What the hell? I don't get it, I don't get you guys that say that kind of stupid stuff. Fred almost says Wilder's a bum. He doesn't have anything other than the right hand. I'm not going to go as far as to call him a bum, but I think he definitely has some work to do as far as his technique goes. Israel Sistenas Rodriguez Moreno says, yes, Tyson's new strategy was the best one because coming forward minimizes Wilder's punching power because he needs room to throw those hands effectively. And, that's what I said yesterday. I said this was going to be a fight where Tyson Fury could win on the outside with his longer reach, and he could bum rush Wilder the way he did against Stephen Cunningham. There were shades of Stephen Cunningham fight today, of the Stephen Cunningham fight today when he was pressing Wilder off with his forearm and swinging on him. You could see that, and that's something that I thought might come into play yesterday when I gave my prediction that Tyson Fury would win. And Regal Donnie's is saying he's a bum. You know, a lot of these guys, are saying Wilder's a bum. You know, look, I'm not going to disrespect a guy like that. I think he's a good fighter. I just don't think he's a good boxer. And I do still think he's one of the best heavyweights. He just, he went up against a much bigger, more technical, superior fighter who also has power, right? Because he was sitting on his punches and going after Wilder. And wasn't just ducking and diving out of the way and trying to box. He was trying to brawl and maul Wilder. And, that worked to his advantage. So I'm not gonna call Deontay Wilder a bum. You guys can feel free to do that. I don't mind people's opinions in here. If I call you out because I think your opinion's ridiculous, I will do that. But everybody's opinion is welcome here. This is not those other boxing channels where I'm going to kick you out for, saying something I don't like. I'm not going to kick you out for, saying stupid stuff. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Sam Slot Channel says he's not a boxer. Perfectly said. I appreciate that. Scott X Scary says Wilder can't handle that type of pressure fight. He looked doomed after the second round, and I agree with that. Chris Taylor says, you don't think he's a good boxer? Are you that stupid? Have you even boxed? I guess those pillow hands just put a beating on Wilder. He's a freaking medalist. Chris Taylor, he's a medalist, a bronze medalist. He's a decent boxer. But as far as when you compare him to Tyson Fury, he's nowhere near the skill level. And Wilder is good, just not elite. Freaking 42-0. Shut up, he says. I think Wilder is good. I don't know if I'd call him elite because the only time he's ever fought anyone that's elite was Tyson Fury. And in my opinion, he's lost both of those fights convincingly. So, when you get to an elite level and you lose, to me, it tells me you're probably not elite. Until he beats somebody that's elite, then, then he's not elite in my opinion. Let's see here. 101 Inc. says, let's be honest. If his girl didn't suck and drained all his life force out of him the night before, Wilder would have won. I think 101 Inc. You might be right, brother. You might be right. JC Tyson actually boxed better in the last fight, as tonight he did more wrestling than anything, but he won in the end. Yeah, he made it a brawl. That's what he was doing. Chris Taylor says, but Wilder smoked Ortiz, who is a legit boxer. Ortiz is absolutely elite. Really now? Ortiz is elite. Name me, besides Deontay Wilder, anybody that Luis Ortiz has fought. And I'm waiting. Here's the chat. Name me anybody that Luis Ortiz has fought that is elite. Luis Ortiz is absolutely not fucking elite at all. Okay? You guys can bring up his Olympic pedigree all you want. He's got a great Olympic pedigree, no doubt, but the fucking guy never fought anybody. Please, type it in the chat. Who has Luis Ortiz fought that's elite? I am waiting. Stephen Manash, my brother with the $5 donation, thank you so much. Your generosity is appreciated. Of course, anything you guys donate to the channel or to the chat allows me to continue building the only kickboxing promotion in the world, or in the state of California, not the world, the state of California. FightersRep 9 will be airing live and free right here on YouTube on Friday. I hope you guys can come out and watch live. If you're anywhere near Southern California, you can get your tickets at FightersRep.com. But if not, you can tune in right here for free. We're keeping the fights free, and we got 17 fights on deck. But anyway, Luis Ortiz is not elite. He never will be elite. He's 50 years old now, so he'll never be elite at this point. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, the bell notification icon. It means a lot. Kerry Haley says Ortiz is not elite. Thank you. Regal Donnie's Fury's jabs what set the pace. Wilder's right hand Caught Fury a few times, but he took them well. That's true. DM says Wilder sucks. He is the Randall Bailey heavyweight. It kind of is Randall Bailey, but I won't say he sucks, man. Come on, Wilder does not suck. He's good. He's good. Let me see what else is going on here. Tyrone has been a good contributor so far today. Wilder has never dealt with someone pressing him, and Wilder never fought toe-to-toe. Imagine what Tyson would do to him. I agree, man. Tyson would have been a tough fight for him. But, Tyson's so small. Would Wilder have been able to connect from a distance? That would have been an interesting fight. Interesting fight. Super Lotto says, nobody from this era is elite. Fury is the best heavyweight. Joshua Wilder and the others are not experienced and no skill, just power. Ruiz is better than Luis Ortiz. I agree that Ruiz is better than Luis Ortiz, and I think we'll see that when they fight. So if you guys are in here calling Luis Ortiz elite and Andy Ruiz beats Luis Ortiz, I'm going to make you guys come back here, and you guys got to donate money to this fucking channel, okay? I'm calling all you guys out that said Luis Ortiz is elite. JC says, you are wrong, Ortiz is elite. Fuck no, Ortiz is not elite. Come on, elite? Floyd Mayweather is elite. You know what I mean? Elite. Cotto in his prime was elite. Bernard Hopkins in his prime was elite. Luis Ortiz, who hasn't fought anybody? Get the fuck out of here, bro. Robert Blake says, Wilder just can't box at all. That's right. John Wick says, not elite at all. You're right. Thank you, brothers. Look, Sam Slot Channel just wrote Ortiz elite, ? Laughing my effing ass off. Tyrone Crawford says, Fury, AJ, Wilder, Ruiz are all elite as well as White. I disagree. I think they're great heavyweights. It's hard for me to call them elite, okay? But that's subjective. Kirian Ona, thank you for joining. By the way, if this is your first time here, guys, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation. Says, of course, Deontay Wilder's a bum. He was never good and never faced a credible opponent outside Fury. He knocked out Uber drivers and today met his match. He was bitten the first fight and now KO. Everybody seems to agree with Kirian on that. Sam Slot Channel says Fury's really good because he's smart and he's also physical. Randy Leiter says Ortiz elite. Ha 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 ha. Tyrone Crawford says Ortiz is top 10, though he might be. He might be. But, I think there's an argument to be made there, right? With the guys that you listed, Tyrone, there's an argument to be made there. I mean, AJ, Wilder, Fury, Dillian White. You've got this Hrgovic kid now. You still got Povetkin. You've got Michael Hunter. You've got Charles Martin. You've got Gerald Washington, who was knocked out tonight. But, Andy Ruiz. They're right there. There's 10 guys that I named that may be better than Ortiz, that could beat Ortiz potentially, and there are other guys. Usyk, let's not forget Usyk, right? Now let's not forget that the other guy, the guy from Kavkaz, what's his name? Murat Gassiev, he's moving up to heavyweight, very strong cruiserweight. So, there are a lot of guys that are up there, man. And we can't just ignore the heavyweight division anymore. You know what I mean? Let's see here. When casual fans hear about who's best in boxing, only hear about his knockouts. That's why he's considered elite. I don't even know what you're saying there, Ramiro Rodriguez. Forgive me, brother. Kirian Ona, calling Luis Ortiz is actually disrespectful to boxing. I would agree, man. I still don't know who the fuck Luis Ortiz fought for people to call him elite. That shit is wild, man. That shit is wild. James K says, can't say Usyk couldn't. I think Usyk beat the shit out of a lot of people right now. I think Usyk might be a real threat in the heavyweight division. We're going to see when he fights Derek Chisora, another heavyweight that I left out. George Coppin says, where does Wilder goes from here?
I don't know. I think he's going to have to assess the damage he took. We're going to have to see how serious that ear injury is. I hope he didn't have any sort of brain injury. And he's going to have to assess that. He's going to have to look forward. I don't think he should take a rematch with Fury right away. I think he needs to develop himself a bit more before he jumps back in there. And I wouldn't judge him for that. I think a lot of people will pressure him to take that rematch, but I would not judge Deontay Wilder if he wanted to step back a little bit, regroup, maybe develop his skills a little bit more, take on a guy that's not as good as Fury, maybe fight Dillian White, but I think that would be a very dangerous fight. And, and then maybe get a couple more fights under his belt before jumping in there with Fury. Because let's not forget, he didn't really have any competition between the Fury fight and this one. He fought a 75-year-old Luis Ortiz, and he fought a Dominic Breazeale who, I don't know what the hell Dominic Breazeale was doing in that fight with Wilder. I'll be honest with you guys. Mahalo Mikel, my brother, thank you for the donation. Your generosity is always appreciated. So thank you so much. If you guys see me touching my nose and twitching, I did some sparring today with some heavyweights and took some shots. We'll leave it at that. Chris Taylor says, I think Wilder just took a beating that will change his career. I hope not. James K says, laughing my ass off, Wilder needs basic boxing, He does. Paul Doxy, thank you for being on here, brother. If you haven't already, guys, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon. I'd like to see you guys join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific. And immediately after the big fights, he says, Fury is the best. He's not been active in 3 years. Fat, overweight, come back, drew with Wilder, but should have won. Come back and ripped him apart the second time. And all these people were saying, oh, Deontay Wilder's a killer in a rematch. He's going to stop him. He's going to knock him out. I knew that shit was not going to happen. At first I thought it was going to happen. I thought, about a month out, I was like, Fury's going to get knocked out. He's messing around. He's doing WWE. He's talking about UFC. He's not concentrated. He's not focused. But as the fight approached, I went back into my default where I got to go with the guy with the superior skill. And then when I saw he was training with Sugar Hill and I saw what his strategy was and I saw how confident he was when he was talking about his strategy, and especially when I saw him at the weigh-in yesterday at 273 pounds with a 2-inch reach advantage over Wilder, giving Deontay Wilder basically no advantages, I said to myself, this is going to be a very tough fight for Wilder. Very tough. The Monkey Eats says Fury versus Joshua. That'd be a fun one, brother. Brian Barrett says Corona. I love Corona, brother. Bring me one if you can. Sam Slot Channel saying AJ is not elite, LMAO. Gareth is saying Ruiz is a more compacted version of what Fury did. Wilder would probably get beaten by Ruiz if Ruiz took it seriously. You might be right about that. I've always thought that would be a good fight. Ruiz versus Wilder. I thought that would be a good fight. JP Starlin says, Chris Taylor, it's an impressive record. I guess they're referring to the defenses that Wilder made. The Monkey Eat says Fury and Joshua should be next. I agree, that should be next. Madakilam Ikechukwu says, let's see if Deontay will bounce back. Appreciate you joining the chat, brother. And yes, let's see if he's going to bounce back. I mean, he took a bit of a beating today, but he's got a lot of heart. And he's got a hell of a chin, man, as we've seen. Deontay Wilder does not give up. Garrett says Fury's a true world level fighter. Absolutely. David Pierce says, who is elite apart from Fury? Sam, you trippa. I don't know. I would say Fury and AJ are the elite. Tyrone Crawford says Wilder cannot retire. I agree with that. Mahalo says Fury licked Wilder's blood. He literally tasted Wilder's blood. The guy's a fucking maniac, man. Did you guys see that? Holy shit, they had the commentators going crazy with that shit. JP Starlet says it was a great fight. It was. That was a great fight, man. That was a great fight, you guys. Gurmil Singh says Wilder never fought anyone real, and there's something behind that statement. There's some truth behind what Gurmil is saying there. He never fought a guy who was a really great boxer, who's a really great fighter. He never fought an elite guy, and he did, and he got found out. That's what I'll say about that. Fury will fight AJ next, guaranteed, according to Gareth. Raymond Glover says, look, no one ever thought that Tyson would go for Wilder and shorten the distance. That was the key, shorten the distance to trade Wilder, not to be able to fire his right. Actually, this was part of my, Tyro Crawford says, you've been drinking this was part of my my prediction. I said Fury was going to make this a good fight on the outside, but also a mauling fight the way he did against Stephen Cunningham, because he's just so big and heavy. I mean, that's what you do. That's a smart way to win. Yesh TV says the bombed squad burn. Lotto Super Lotto says elite is Canelo, Terrence Crawford, Lomachenko, Errol Spence. Fury's elite class now. Only a few is elite. Don't use elite. I agree with Lotto Super Lotto. I like that. I have the same mindset as you, brother. Sultan001 says Wilder thought Tyson Fury was one of the 35 bums from America he has been fighting in his career. Hey, don't talk about America, brother. But I know what you mean. Lotto Super Lotto. Let's not go there, brother. Brian Barrett says Wilder can't win, but that was not Wilder. He was overcome by the moment, drained that opening bell. I don't know what you mean by that, dude. I think he just got beat up. King Twarney says, I say the green belt will come to the UK, and it sure will. Alistair49 says, exposed. Q's Magic says it was a wrestling match. Well, Fury just bullied Wilder. And, he did. But that is allowed in boxing, right? I mean, he did it to Steve Cunningham. And some people, this is how they fight. There are people that make careers off fighting like that. You know what I mean? Just mauling people. There are people that make careers out of that. And so for him to be so good at doing that and boxing and, fighting mid-range, fighting on the outside, I mean, you got to give it to Tyson Fury. He's a special guy, and you got to give it to him. Kieran Ona says the WBC belt has finally been rescued. And, that's a huge statement there. There's huge meaning behind that. And there's true meaning behind that, because that WBC belt was going to be taken hostage for a decade if Fury wasn't going to be able to beat Wilder tonight. And it would have never happened. Gurmil Singh says AJ is like a robot from Rocky IV. He has been looked after. I don't know if AJ has been looked after too much. He's actually fought a lot of tough guys. Tyrone Crawford says Wilder versus Big Baby Miller. That's a good fight for Wilder if he comes back. Gareth says the clinch is really important. Fury even clocked Wilder with an uppercut and nearly knocked him out with it. I agree with that. Freddie Birkinshaw says first time us Brits have controlled the heavyweight division with two champions, but I still don't think they're elite either in the history of heavyweight. Usyk is probably technically better. Yeah, but you're talking about an Usyk that's 6'3". 6'3", maybe 6'4" on a day where he's been doing yoga and stretching out his spine. You don't get 6'9", 85-inch reach with 273 pounds and move the way that Tyson Fury does. You don't get that ability. That's not fair. And so Usyk may or may not be technically better than a guy that's 6'9", 273 pounds with an 85-inch reach. Do you see what I'm saying there? Those are physical qualities that are just absolutely ridiculous. A point was deducted, I believe, for holding Delaney A. That's what the point deduction was for. The Monkey Eats says Wilder always gets rocked but gets lucky with the right hand. Gurmil Singh says Usyk isn't big enough to knock Fury out. I agree with that. He's not even big enough to reach his face. Chris Taylor says what happens if Wilder fights Tyrone Spong? I think he knocks Spong out. Saimir Damani says She ara se il mek. I don't know what you're saying. Saimir, try English, my brother. Maybe Arabic, maybe Spanish. But I can't help you with the French, my brother. Bruce Lee says Bum Squad got defeated. Ginger Giant says Tyson Fury would handle Usyk easily. You crazy cunts. And I agree with that. Ricardo Uyema says no shame in losing to Fury. The only man with that level of footwork and head movement to neutralize Deontay Wilder's right hand. And there is no shame. I mean, the guy's a beast. Craig Sterling says, the big man win? Yes, Tyson Fury won the fight. The fight was stopped 1:39 seconds into round number 7. Garrett says, Wilder has no legs, and that's why he became fatigued. He has no power on the inside because of that. You know, I agree. I think that extra weight that he added tired his legs out, and he already doesn't have great feet, if I'm being honest. Carlos Aguirre says, the best boxer won, and that's what happened tonight. Carl Winter says, why do you randomly cough and wipe sweat that isn't there? I don't know what you're talking about. De La Cron says, look or cool for Fury. Ginger Giant says, all jokes aside, John McDermott would handle Wilder. I don't know about that. I think you might be pushing it there, but we'll see. We'll see. You know, at the end of the day, again, I want to stress that this is a big win for boxing. The only reason they fought Fury is because they thought he was washed up. Then they gave him that ridiculous, pathetic decision in the first fight that kind of disgusted me. I'll be honest with you, and I'm sure turned off a million boxing fans. You know, as these promoters continue to bury the sport of boxing and bleed it out and allow the UFC to completely smash it by doing the opposite of everything that they do. And you know, corruption took a big hit. You know, that same corruption that had them pick Fury in the first fight blew up in their face when Fury came out and dominated that first fight and still got shortchanged. It forced Deontay Wilder to take this fight. Deontay Wilder was forced to take this fight. And because he was forced to take this fight, he got beat. You know what I mean? So it's almost as if society shamed him into taking this second fight. So, you know, at the end of the day, I don't think it's Deontay Wilder's fault. I do think it's more his management's fault that he hasn't fought, you know, all the guys that he's supposed to fight. I also think that, you know, he should have fought Dillian White instead of Luis Ortiz. But whatever, maybe he'll fight Dillian White now that he has that L on his record. And maybe we'll get less stupidity from boxing. Hopefully the promoters, will learn a lesson from this. But I highly doubt it, you guys. So like I'm saying, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon. Help me to continue to build this channel and FightersRep Promotions, the only kickboxing promotion, pro kickboxing promotion in the state of California. It's much appreciated. Anything you guys donate to the super chat, anything you guys donate, as far as buying a shirt, a FightersRep shirt, and links below, it's all going to get reinvested right back into FightersRep. I really appreciate you guys joining the chat. I thought that I might hear more complaining about the stoppage. I thought it was an okay stoppage, but you know, if you thought the fight was stopped early, press 1 in the chat. If you're okay with the stoppage, press 2. So if you're okay with the stoppage, hit 2. And again, if you thought the fight was stopped early, hit 1. I'd like to know everybody. Camille Ekinchi says Tyson Fury hits harder than Wilder. Brian Barrett says, we need a super heavyweight division for this carnival. Let real boxers fight at 230 pounds. Wilder punches like a girl. Can't move, and he was the champion. Embarrassment to the legends. I don't know about that. And, you know, everybody's hitting 2. It looks like everybody is in agreement that the fight was not stopped early, except for JP Starlin and Bruce Neal. I'd like to hear why you guys felt that the fight was stopped early. But everybody else seems to be hitting that 2 button. By the way, while you guys are clicking buttons, feel free to hit that like button. There's over 400 people in here right now. So, click that like button. And Chris Taylor saying, bruh, your head's bleeding out of your ear. I agree. I didn't like that. When I saw the blood coming out of the ear, I think even Deontay Wilder, at first he was arguing with Mark Breland. And then he was like, Mark Breland was telling him, bro, like, you got blood coming out of your ear, man. So, I don't know. David Pierce also says, I'd like to know why you guys think, why you guys, yes, TV hit 3. For the guys that hit 1, I mean, why do you think the fight was stopped a little bit early? And that's true. Brian Barrett says the towel was thrown. How can that be early? But, I guess what I'm referring to is, did the corner stop the fight early? Let's say that. Did the corner stop the fight early? I mean, I think it was an okay stoppage. I almost feel like it's a good thing that the referee didn't stop it, that the corner stopped it. Had the referee stopped that, oh my God, it would have been more of this BS boxing controversy. Adam Young says, Wilder has no short power game, and if he doesn't fix this, it will be exploited. Well, it was exploited tonight, and he's missing more than just a short power game. He's missing a lot. He's missing a lot as far as as far as his boxing skills go. He should have used the jab more. He should have go to the body more. But really, I don't see how he could have beaten Fury tonight. Fury just too big, too heavy for Deontay Wilder. Not physical enough. And Deontay Wilder's a guy who, if we're being honest with ourselves, could probably make the cruiserweight division. I think anybody else in Deontay Wilder's shoes would be fighting at cruiserweight. And you got to respect him for fighting in the heavyweight division. You have to have respect for him. But, I mean, I think, if I'm being honest with you, being a promoter, seeing how much weight guys cut, he came into the last fight at 209 pounds. So he was 9 pounds away from a cruiserweight. So, I mean, if you guys, don't respect that, then, I don't know what to tell you. The guy's a cruiserweight. By the way, if you think that Fury should fight AJ next, let me see a number 1 in the chat. If you think Fury should fight AJ next. If you think Fury should rematch with Wilder, hit a number 2. John Castle said, Deontay said that Fury was Goliath and he was David. Well, this time I rooted for Goliath. Great fucking victory. Congrats and mad respect to Tyson Fury. Wilder exposed. Super light. Let's see. Chris Taylor says, Wilder's a warrior, but he continued to get trapped in the style or the clinch weighing on his head, neck, and arms. Plus, Fury choked his power hand. That's true. That's true. And, everybody's looking for, it looks like so far, everybody's looking for the Anthony Joshua fight, except Rob S. He thinks that there should be a rematch for Wilder. So, this is what the public wants. They want now to see Tyson Fury fighting AJ. Hey, maybe I can convince you guys to do this. We've got Fighters Rep happening on Friday. Just so you guys know, I'm in the mecca of combat sports here in Southern California. It's the mecca of combat sports. And it's unfortunate because, the laws here have made it extremely difficult to be a successful pro promotion. It's just very expensive. And so, part of this channel, besides talking about the fights every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, is airing our own fights on here for free. So, since I'm able to convince you guys to hit that 1 in the chat, if you guys, want to show some love to Knucklehead Nation, feel free to donate $1 or maybe even $2 to the super chat. anything goes a long way. Just so you guys know, I just reinvest all the money back into FightersRep. I've got 17 fights on tap. It's our first Pro-Am. It's the only pro kickboxing promotion in the entire state of California, which is the most populous state in the United States. I've got Anderson Silva's son fighting on the card. And again, if you guys are nowhere near California, Los Angeles, or Orange County, and you can't get your tickets at FightersRep.com because you're too far from Los Angeles and Orange County, then, you can tune in right here. The model I'm going for is to keep the fights free on YouTube for as long as I can, to continue to build the fan base, and to continue to build what I believe and what I'm going to try to convince you guys is the best combat sports rule set in the world. It's basically stand and bang. Unified rules striking. There's no clinching allowed. It's basically a boxing match with kicks and knees. And I really hope that you guys will continue to support. So knuckleheads, before I get going here, I do want to say thank you guys for joining me on the chat. There are a lot of you in here. It's a real pleasant surprise to have all of you guys in here. I know you guys are from everywhere in the world. I can tell by, your names and the things that you guys say and the things that you guys do in here. And it means a lot. Thank you so much. I'll continue to build this channel. We're actually approaching 4,000 subscribers. Last year we were only at 500. So, this has really grown. And with your help, I really believe that I can continue to build, FightersRep Promotions into the best kickboxing promotion in the world. Sam Slot Channel says, good night, brother. Thanks for the live feed. My pleasure, you guys. Thank you guys so much. Please subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon if you haven't already, man. I really appreciate you guys. And we do this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. There's always something good to talk about in the fight game. So join us. Join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7. If you hit subscribe and the little bell next to the subscribe button, it'll tell you when we're on. It's 7 p.m. Pacific, but I know you guys are from everywhere. So it'll tell you when we're on. And, we'll talk about the fight game. And we do this immediately after all the big fights. It's a good time. It's a good time for real boxing fans, real fight fans to get together. We're not biased. We keep it objective. We accept everybody's opinion, even if we think it's ridiculous. I don't kick people out. I don't treat people differently because of where they come from or what they look like, because it's 2020 and I'm a mature adult. And at the end of the day, everybody's an individual and everybody's got a clean slate with me. So, all love for everybody. Much love to everybody. And you guys, have a good night. Until next time, keep it clean. And, be happy, you guys. Be happy. I'll see you guys on Monday. Much love to you guys. I'm out.